dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Flash! Gordon. Even by 1980, Flash Gordon had been around for a while. Alex Raymond had created the comic strip character in 1934 for King Features Syndicate, who at the time were looking for something to emulate the success of Buck Rogers. The strip was successful enough that a number of Flash Gordon serials were made from 1936, starring Larry Buster Crabbe, who also played the title role in a number of Buck Rogers serials from around the same time, which would be a bit like if David Hasselhoff had starred simultaneously in Knight Rider and Airwolf. Less remembered as a 50s TV series starring Steve Holland, made for the long-defunct Dumont network. Long-defunct, like my ability to read warning labels on poison bottles without a microscope. I have a burning sensation in my esophagus right now. It'll pass. Italian mega producer Dino De Laurentiis had wanted to get a Flash Gordon film off the ground for a while, and over many years had approached several big-name filmmakers like Federico Fellini, Nicholas Roeg, and Sergio Leone, but nothing came together. Oh, come on guys, a little class here please. That said, there was the infamous erotic parody version from the mid-70s, Flash Gordon.
If you had known anything about the true nature of the universe, anything at all, you would have hidden from it in terror.
After Star Wars' huge success, getting money to make a lavish space fantasy movie was less difficult than before. De Laurentiis hired Get Carter director Mike Hodges to helm an extravagant-looking Flash Gordon adaptation for release in 1980, based on a script by former Batman TV writer Lorenzo Semple Jr.
My name's Flash.
I know.
The movie follows the basic story of the source material fairly faithfully. Earth is experiencing unusual natural disasters, and discredited scientist Dr. Hans Zarkov is ignored when he claims it's due to alien attack. He plans to use a homemade rocket to confront the aliens who are able to cause the moon to crash into the Earth with a revolver, but his launch preparations and his reluctant assistant are interrupted by a plane crash. The only survivors, Dale Arden and football hero Flash Gordon. Zarkov, who claims he's not mad but is clearly mad, kidnaps the pair at gunpoint and forces them into a rocket, which is headed for outer space, where they land on a strange alien world. No, not at all mad. Mongo, with its many eccentric moons, is ruled by the ruthless tyrant Ming the Merciless, and he takes a liking to Dale Arden and unilaterally declares her to be his next bride.
Forget it, Ming. Dale's with me.
Flash tries to get out of the situation the only way he knows how, in one of the movie's silliest yet brilliant sequences,
Go, Flash, go!
by initiating an impromptu football game with Ming's guards. I mean, you weren't seriously expecting people to sit around staring in wonder at view screens or talking about trade blockades, were you? Flash is apparently executed, and Zarkov brainwashed by Ming's underlings, leaving Dale with wedding preparations, which involves drinking hard liquor. But, major twist, Ming's thirsty daughter Aura has faked Flash's execution because she wants to add Flash to her playlist. One of Aura's 50 other boyfriends, Prince BARIN, leader of the tree huggers on Arborea, just wants to kill Flash, while BARIN's mortal enemy Vultan, head of the Birdmen, is content to let Flash and BARIN fight it out.
What would you do if I were captive in your kingdom?
Ming appears, offers Flash a kingdom of his own so long as he gets to marry Dale, but no dice.
Beam another blast.
Murderer.
Flash then gets on a rocket treadmill, hooks up with Vultan's crew, and commandeers one of Ming's war rockets so that he can execute a flawless landing on Mongo. Well, nearly flawless, but a bullseye on Ming is worth 50 points, so there's that.
Tell me more about this man Houdini.
Flash Gordon as a movie isn't complicated or deep, like a cat's Instagram update. Characterizations are close to paper thin, but a mostly talented cast of actors managed to make the characters feel somewhat like actual people, or at least as real as you get in this universe.
Flash Gordon approaching.
What do you mean? Flash Gordon approaching.
Max von Sydow is deliciously evil as Ming. He doesn't need to shout to threaten his subjects, just a glare will do it.
Everyone will be saved?
Yes. And no. After the earthquakes and tidal waves, they won't be quite the human beings you remember.
Topol makes Dr. Hans Zarkov a semi-rounded person, like a character in a PlayStation 1 game.
It's my fault. Earth is being destroyed.
Zarkov doesn't really get to do anything once they get to Mongo, but he's so likeable that Flash and Dale completely forget about the time he pointed a gun at them and kidnapped them at gunpoint and forcibly transported them into space at gunpoint, because due to a terrible design flaw in the spaceship that he designed and built,
I need one person to keep a foot on that red pedal during blastoff.
when a sack of potatoes would have done the job just as well. But a sack of potatoes wouldn't have made for a good female lead. Melody Anderson seems to do really well in scenes on her own, an ass-kicking travel agent, but she doesn't do all that much if Flash is around.
I do.
I do not.
Timothy Dalton has the right amount of self-importance as BARIN, who'd rather fight against Vultan's crew than join with them to instead tackle Ming. Brian Blessed is in his element, using his outdoor voice as his default setting.
Gordon's alive.
Jason King himself, Peter Wingard, is perfect as the oily-voiced toady Clytus.
Yes, you don't look well. And I'm told you refused your final meal. The chef will be upset.
Who gets the film's most shocking death. Ornella Muti as Ming's bratty daughter Aura also turns in a good performance.
It's deadly poison. Drop this into his glass tonight.
I can't, Aura.
But the film really hinges on Flash, and that's where it almost falls apart.
Flash Gordon. Quarterback, New York Jets.
Sam J. Jones as Flash looks the part, and he's relatively credible in action scenes, but any actual acting is just not happening here. His voice has irritated me for decades until I learned he's actually been redubbed by another actor for much of the movie.
No kidding. You look great.
Does anyone ever trust her twice?
Various stories exist as why Jones didn't come back. One was that Jones had fought with the director and producer, and another story has Jones injured. Either way, he just wasn't available during editing and dubbing stages. So the missing lines were dubbed by another actor who sounds neither heroic nor flashy.
I'll make it plain I'm acting on my own.
Flash Gordon is a film that doesn't try to make the design feel contemporary, but tries a modern take on the ornate and eccentric designs as seen in the comic strip and the serials. People wearing capes, rocket ships with large fins, that sort of thing. Ming's court looks like a cosplay convention, and a classy one at that, not one where everyone just turns up dressed as Spider-Man.
It's telepathy. Over.
Stay where you're safe.
Oh my God, this girl's really turning me on.
I didn't quite get that. Think it again.
Maybe because it has a half-naked Brian Blessed, Flash Gordon is often described as camp or silly. Its flamboyant production design and costumes were fairly unique for a sci-fi adventure film with a fairly big budget. Flash Gordon wasn't unique in this sort of fantasy-based design. There'd already been Barbarella in the late 60s, and the occasional low-budget sci-fi exploitation B-movie here and there. But Flash Gordon was a big-budget adventure compared to the rest. It's not serious or po-faced, and it has no message at all, like many sci-fi films of the previous decade.
This place is a lunatic asylum.
Flash Gordon has fun with the proceedings. Sure, there's an impromptu game of football, eccentric creatures, and glittering costumes looking like a red carpet nightmare, but Flash Gordon as a movie does what it says on the tin. It's flashy as fuck.
Dispatch War Rocket Ajax to bring back his body.
It's beautiful to look at with colourful and interesting imagery everywhere. The money looks like it's all on screen. The special effects are still mostly special, apart from the odd dodgy blue screen effect here and there. But on balance, it holds up okay. One of the film's most iconic elements is the soundtrack. Flash Gordon was unique for the time, in that it was, in essence, scored by the group Queen. Flash's theme is unique and instantly recognisable, so associated with the film that it's really hard to hear the words Flash Gordon without hearing Flash's theme in your head. It's a movie that people will quote, but only the dialogue that's used in the theme song.
Open fire! All weapons! Now!
The film was one of those movies that, if you had some out-of-hours school function, Flash Gordon was considered a safe movie for 10-year-olds to watch unsupervised. I mean, it's no Condor Man, but, whatevs. Flash Gordon's marketing nearly killed me when a promotion of the movie involved dropping ping pong balls from a helicopter onto a crowd below, where if you managed to catch one, you won whatever prize was printed on the ball. What I caught instead was being pushed to the ground and trampled by people trying to win a fucking Flash Gordon poster.
Oh well, who wants to live forever?
Flash Gordon is the only film I can ever remember that was an actual literal blockbuster. We went to get tickets when the film opened locally in 1981, and for the only time in my personal experience, there was an enormous line that snaked around the block for hundreds of meters, all for Flash motherfucking Gordon.
Flash! Flash, I love you! But we only have 14 hours to save the Earth!
Flash Gordon didn't do amazing business in North America, but did quite well in the UK and Italy, where much of the supporting cast hailed from. It received pretty ordinary reviews, but like a lot of movies that didn't do well in cinemas, it has found an appreciative audience from people who discovered the movie on home video or TV broadcasts. It's become a cult classic that people love, despite its faults. Like Full Cream Milk, there was an attempt to make a TV series in 2007 that tried to update the story, but was not well liked by anyone. Ordinarily, I'd tried to watch it, but I just can't. I mean, I could, but I won't. I should, but I shan't. Possibly the most surprising example of Flash Gordon's belated popularity is in the movie Ted, when all of a sudden, Sam J. Jones turns up playing a version of himself.
We are gonna party like the 80s.
Show us how, Flash.
I guess he was available that day.
Death to Ming!
Flash Gordon was a film that spent a long time in gestation and tried to go against the grain of its 1980 contemporaries. Everyone else was doing angular ships with industrial details and muted colours. Flash Gordon looks like an accident in a combined paint and fireworks factory. The movie didn't make waves on release, but like Golden Staff, it just chipped away people's resistance to its colourful glitz to the point where more people feel fondly about the movie than don't. I just think the movie seems to get better with age. Flash Gordon, it's not a great film, but it's a damn good time.
Long live Flash! You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day. Yeah!
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, leave a comment below or check out some of our other videos.